Warm welcome to Just Yoga with me, Ria. I'm standing here in my brand new yoga studio, so welcome in, welcome home, I might say. This yoga class will be just an easy flow class. Hopefully you will just breathe, sense your body, and that will just make you feel good. So stand at the top end of your mat in mountain pose, hands by your side. Close your eyes and soften your body. And you might want to widen the distance in between your legs just to stand more firm and more grounded. Inhale deeply and sigh out through your mouth. And if you want an intention or a focus for your class, maybe it's a word that just is needed in your life. Maybe it's peace, maybe it's love, acceptance, whatever it might be. Try to wave this in through the class. This is where we take a break, standing or whenever. Just inhale it and come back to that word and let it fill you. And then draw your arms up to the side. Open up your chest as you lean back and let your hands drop back. No need to go really long back, just a little bit. And then bend your knees, fold forward. Finding the floor with your hands. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling up, engage your core, your navel in as you stand up. And again, up with your hands, let them fall back, open up your chest, maybe looking up. And then straighten your spine, your arms can come out whenever it feels good, bending your knees as you fold forward. And you might notice that your spine is a little bit stiff or your legs or something like that, but just move again. Mountain pose or even high mountain with your arms up overhead, leaning back, opening up your chest. And again, like a waterfall, slow waterfall, coming down forward. Then lifting up halfway and step your feet back into plank pose. And here again, we're gonna move a little bit. You might be on your knees, you might be on your toes. Still spreading out your fingers though. Maybe come a little bit out on the outer edge of your feet there, one side, the other side. Back to your toes. Lower down on your chest. And we're gonna lift up our chest in baby cobra. So inhale, lifting up, and exhale, soften down. And do that a few times. Trying to use your spine muscles more than your arms, if possible. Next time you're down with your chest, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. So middle finger pointing directly to the front, and I tend to have my pinky finger at the outer edge of my mat. And then I'm walking. Again, more soft walking than stiff walking, if that makes sense. So just move as it feels good in your body. let's do one of the traditional vinyasa. So inhale to plank on toes or knees, lower down. Make sure your shoulders are in front of your fingers as you lower down. Lifting up your chest, cobra or up dog where your hip is off. Down dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling to plank. Shift over your toes, lower down, exhale, taking your time. Ribs and elbows in, lifting through your chest. Moving back into downward facing dog. And one more time when you're ready. And down dog. Just a couple of breaths here in down dog, and you might go back to your focus or your intention. Just bring the word to your mind. Take your right leg and lift it up behind you and then step it to the top end of the mat. Now you might want to grab a block underneath your left hand here. That might be helpful. But then you twist right arm over your head and make sure that the front knee and ankle is aligned and stacked. Then we're going to use a little bit of creativity here. So walk your hands or round your hands. Move your shoulder to the front and then back, up. And then open up your chest by taking this arm further back behind you. And from there, kind of taking it like almost you're threading your needles, except you're not going onto your armpit unless that suits you. So coming back again, arm up, traditional twist. And then inhale to the front. Exhale, hands back and down and up. Inhale, open up your chest, take the hand behind your spine. And exhale, threading the needle. Ish. One last time. Inhale up. Exhale, drawing it down front. Taking your arms up, inhale. And exhale back. Taking your hands in, and we're reversing our breath here, that's fine. And then hand down, step it to the top end of the mat. And fold forward, shake your wrists, whatever is needed. Before we do the other side, chair pose. Straighten your spine, sit low, sit high. Remember to feel good. Now that might be using a lot of energy today, or it might be not using so much. You choose. And lean forward, forward fold. Step your right leg back, so we're in that lunge position with our hands down. Left arm reaching up overhead. And then drawing it around like you're reaching forward. And then down and up. Your hands down or arm back, stretching your pec muscles here, the chest, and then weaving it underneath like you want to receive something to your right side. Let's do that again. Take your arms up. So inhale, forward, exhale back. Inhale, open up, and exhale, needle. And again up. Twisting. Inhale to the front. Exhale back. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, threading the needle. Just one more time. And let your arms stay up here so it fits with your breath. So begin with an inhale. Inhale to the front. Exhaling, moving back. Inhale, lifting, arm back. Exhaling, needle. And this time, step back. Down dog. Move to plank, vinyasa flow. Exhaling, lower down. Moving on, cobra or up dog, inhale. And down dog, exhale. If you want to jump to the front, bend your knees slightly, gently. Move forward into a jump. Forward fold, rise up. Mountain pose, hands in prayer. Close your eyes. Settle your breath. And then let's play a little bit with the balance. I love balance poses. It's just such a wonderful way of getting from my head down to my body, even though I'm not particularly good at balance poses, actually. So take your right leg up, cinching in your hips here, your ribs in. Keep a focused gaze. And then maybe take your arms out, align it with the floor, and then we can kind of twist here. You might follow, if you're good with your balance, follow the gaze back to the back arm, or just stay with your gaze to the front so that you're kind of easier going with your balance. No rush. Do it 2 times to each side. And as you come back to the top end of the mat, just take the right leg just 1 step back. Feet are pointing in the long direction of your legs. Take your arms overhead and then lean forward. Now you might want to stop here, or you want to go maybe all the way to horizontal line. And then all the way down. Now we're going to do pyramid pose with a twist. So again, blocks might be helpful. Right hand maybe in front of your left leg there, twisting up. So you're moving up your left arm. Now you can always play with letting go of the floor, so you're not like leaning in. You want to lift the spine, elongate the spine as much as possible, and maybe letting go with the hands. Pushing in the left hip so it doesn't move out to the side. It loves to do that. And then up again, moving up, let your feet or your legs be standing, leaning back as you engage your core. Like you're one straight line leaning back. Hands in prayer pose. Now it's left legs turn, lift up, knee hip aligned. As we did before, I'm gonna twist. Now you might want to have your arms in prayer pose and then twist from there. Or as we did before, long arms. Gaze to the front. Or if you want to challenge, follow the hand that is back, whatever hand it is. And make sure you breathe. And accept anything and any time you are thrown out of balance. Back into place, left leg, just 1 step back. Again, closing the hip, aligning it with the short end of the mat. From here, leaning forward. Now, tight hamstrings might not be able to do what we were doing before, so make sure you take your precautions. Use blocks, or just hold on your thigh. Then come all the way down, left fingertips on the floor, right arm up this time. So I'm kind of sucking in my inner thighs a little bit as I twist. Now gaze can be at the top hand or down, whatever suits you. And if you liked before, letting go of the floor and hover here in a twist, pyramid with a twist. An intense pose. Unwind, coming back. Palms together as we did before, leaning back. Make sure again your hips is aligned with the short end of the mat. They might want to move to the side. And micro bend your left leg, which is bearing most of your body weight. And lean forward, downward facing dog. So hands down, step back, and sigh out. Coming back to your word or your intention one more time. And Vinyasa flow, inhale to plank. Exhaling, lower down. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Now we're going to go a little bit more creative with warrior two. So you might want to take your right leg up or even your left. It doesn't matter. So the important thing is that you can actually see the screen. So whatever way works for you, to begin with at least. So try to find your warrior two, the back foot aligned with the short end of the mat and the front foot with the long end of the mat. And then take this back arm to the front, take your hands on the inside, the sole of the foot here, the arch of the foot, and kind of move back. Now my back foot, I take a little bit out as I move back so that knee and toes are pointing in the same direction. Coming down here, stretching hamstrings, inner thighs. And then moving back, I might align this back foot again with the short end of the mat. And then kind of windmill my arms up like a sun. Stretching the front leg, moving back, making sure my shoulders are stacked. Align it with the heel. So a version of humble, or not humble, a peaceful warrior. And then again, hands to the front, bending the front knee, finding the inside of the foot, moving back. I might even shoot my hands back if that's funny. And then to the front, warrior two, with these arms stretching the front leg, moving back. Let's do that a few more times. Bending the front knee as I put my hands down, stretching it, bending the back leg. Again, coming to the front, engage your core as you lift up. And let's do that a few times. Now you might want to speed this up a little bit if you find it funny, or slow it down. Or if you feel creative, do your own version of this. You might feel your thighs at some point. Let's do it one more time. And then you can just make your way into a forward fold, head down. Now this time my toes are pointing in a little bit. And you might want to just turn on your mat if that makes sense to you. So warrior two makes sense to me. So warrior two the other direction, looking to the front, going as low as you like. And then windmill that arm around, finding the arch of the front foot. Scooch back, bending the back knee, stretching the front leg. Always doing the first one a little bit slow. And then walking your hands to the front again, placing the feet, bending the front knee, so I lift up through the arch of the front foot, taking your hands up. And as you move back, trying to find balance, stretch, front leg, core involved here. Continuing. Now, I'm not following my breath here. I'm just moving. You might want to do that. And I actually like moving a little bit fast, so just breathe. Finding the version of this posture that suits you. Maybe coming back to your intention. If it was joy or peace, put some peace or put some joy into this. And don't overthink this. As long as you're moving and it doesn't hurt you, just go with it. One last time. And one more time, just finding forward fold, toes pointing in a little bit. Drop your head down. Maybe you say no with your neck. And then lift up your spine. Walk your hands to the top end of the mat where your hands usually are. And step back, down dog. Again, we're gonna be a little bit creative here, but let's do a few breaths. If you wanna just pause in child's pose just for a few breaths, that's also an option. If you're in down dog, put some weight into the heels so you feel stretch in the Achilles tendon there, hamstrings, the back, and even your lower back. From here, lift up your right leg to the sky and bend your knee, drop it down into a version of pigeon pose. We're not going to stay here for that long. It's going to be a sequence, but I'd like just to begin with, just to take a little bit of time. Stay with your hands down, lower your hip. You might want to look up. So your right leg is in front. And then you move out. So you're coming back to sit on the mat. Now your right leg is still at the front. I'm going to scooch this leg a little bit further back, lifting up, finding some sort of a side stretch here. Taking both hands down again on the floor, so they're kind of where I would put them in down dog. Lift up, taking this right leg further out to the side for a plank version, fallen star, supported side plank. Both hands down, take the back heel off. Three-legged dog, always adjust if you need to. And then right leg to the top end of the mat, high lunge. So adjust whatever you need to adjust. And then lean forward, maybe wrapping your arms around this front leg. Lifting up again, leaning forward, step your right leg back, down dog. Repeating on the other side. So left leg elevated up, and then our pigeon pose, or at least a version of it. Staying high, you might feel a stretch in the glutes. And sit down on the side, maybe moving this stretched leg further back. See if you can keep any sort of balance, lifting up, leaning back. This is quite hard for me. Moving this inner thigh as much down to the ground as I can. And then windmill your hands around, finding this fallen star thing. So lifting up, stretch out your left leg. Right leg's toes pointing out the same way as your other leg. Both hands down, three-legged dog, left leg elevated. And then to the front. High lunge. Gaze on the ground if your balance is a bit thrown off here in the long run. Leaning forward. I'm actually not hucking in my knees as such. I'm more like holding here, so I'm not leaning on my thigh, but holding my core with my back and with my abs. Release, or actually coming into high lunge again. And then step back, down dog. Now that you got this, we are gonna repeat it. So, right leg up, pigeon pose. Take one breath here. Sit down on your right thigh, lifting up. Now, if this is not possible, just stay here a little bit, lean further back, but I'm actually gonna hold here. It's easier than taking both my hands up, I think. Coming back, both hands down until I'm ready to find that fallen star. Moving your right leg out to the side, turning the back foot, lifting up your hip. Both hands down, right leg up, three-legged dog, to the front. High lunge. Core in, leaning forward, kind of wrapping around, but not completely. Hands down, and then up, high lunge. And to the back, or to back in down dog. Left leg. Pigeon pose. Stay high. Come down on your buttocks. Maybe holding here. Now one side might be feeling different. This side is different for me. Windmill your hands around, tucking the back foot under so you're able to move into that fallen star side plank version. Both hands down. Left leg up. Smile as you take your left leg to the front, finding high lunge. Leaning forward a little bit or a lot. Make sure your shoulders are not falling back, but squeeze back a little bit. Hands down and then to the front or up and up. And downward facing dog. Child's pose, knees on the ground. Get some distance in between the knees, forehead on the mat. Now, depending on your intention or your focus for the class, you might want to find a balance pose. Maybe you're practicing one specific one, so do that one. I'm going to do a headstand today. And if you're not used to it, please find a wall and do it up against the wall so you don't fall back. We can do a more traditional headstand, which is either mostly coming all the way up or not. So I'm going to grasp my hands here tuck them underneath. So I'm kind of standing on this fore part of my arm, the top of my head. So if you don't want to go all the way, you can definitely just stay on your knees or just coming up here to feel how that is, what that is doing to your neck. If you want to move further, see if you can lift the knee up. And if you feel a bit shaky, stay here. Now, obviously you can go further up. Now it's feel good yoga. So please do what feels good in your body. Play with it, with your legs, if you happen to have balance. And no worries if you fall down, as long as you fall to the place where your gaze is, right? Keep your eyes open. And breathe. There's all sorts of things you can do with your legs in the air. If you're ready to come down, do it gently. And find child's pose again. And maybe you want to massage your head, which means you'll move your neck a little bit. Maybe drop your hands down by your side so that your arms are relaxed. Notice your body. Move up on your knees and sit down on the mat, whatever direction makes sense to you. Now we're gonna do, I've learned it was called cow face. You can take your right leg beneath and left leg here at the front. Now you might want to sit like this. If you're like this, just find any cross-legged position, seated position, okay? Just remember to have, going to switch the legs, which one is on top or at the front, whatever way you're seated. But if you want to do cow face, we want to try to align the knees as much as we can. Now my legs here, we can move the heel a little bit away from the thigh. No need to push them in. Gives the knees a little bit more space. Try to relax. And then we're gonna do a kind of a monster. If this is cow face legs, we're gonna do eagle arms, right? So you can take your right hand or elbow at the bottom, left on the top. Now arms going whatever way around you can. Lift your elbows away from your chest, shoulders down, and then hands away from your face as much as you can. Now draw your shoulders a little bit down towards the floor, a bit back. And try to find your deep breath. And you might even want to lean further forward if you're not feeling anything in your thighs or the outer edge of your thighs. Coming back, letting go of your arms. Now we're going to do opposite sides. So remember, if you're not seated like me, do the opposite legs. So, but first, we are going to shake any tiredness out. Left leg will go to the bottom if you were following me here. And right leg at the top, again, heels a little bit out. And I will invite you, before we do our arms, just to try to get both sitting bones somewhat in touch with the mat. Try to relax your thighs where they're stretching sometimes, especially in this one. I find it hard to actually figure out if I'm tightening my muscles or if it's just a stretch that I'm feeling. Now, if you have noticed, left arm at the bottom, wrapping around once, twice, as we did before, elbows a little bit away because it doesn't really give a whole lot if my chest and elbows are down. Hands away from your head. And then make sure your shoulders are not elevated towards your ears. And if you feel like it, lean forward ever so slightly. And let go. Unwrap your legs. Send them to the top of the mat. Now, I'm going to show you plow pose. That's a deep forward fold. If you have neck issues or anything like that, don't do it. Do this one instead, just traditional forward fold seated. You might even take your hands underneath your knee joint just to soften the stretch a little bit on the back there, the hamstrings. Now, if you want to do plow pose, please take a look. If you know it, go ahead. You know it. No need to look. But if you're doing this with me, take a look first. So you need some space behind you as you take your legs up, and you might want to do a little bit of a candle here or shoulder stand before. And then you bend at the hip, staying with your knees bended or stretch them out. Maybe your toes can reach down, and maybe you want to grab the floor, just hold your lower back, whatever works. So this is plow pose. Welcome to join me. Don't look at the screen, okay? Keep your eyes closed. Keep your neck where it is. Now, some of us have extra flesh on the belly, and it might not feel that nice in this posture. If it's in the way, then do the other one, or find your way of doing plow pose. Keep your eyes closed. Just listen to my voice. No looking at the screen. Take your hands to your lower back. Let your feet go off the floor if they're there. Hold your lower back, bending the knees, and slowly, like vertebrae by vertebrae, coming down on the floor. Feet on the floor. And bend your knees, and then you can just rest here. You might want to do windshield or something like that, if that's right. Now that was a deep back bend. Oh, sorry, forward fold. Now we're gonna do a version of back bend, a version of fish pose. It's very subtle, but still it can be quite powerful. So try to picture somebody taking your navel and pulling it up. So you have you get a huge arch in your back, and I might even shorten myself a little bit. So I let my sitting bones kind of stay on the mat, and I squeeze myself a little bit shorter from shoulder to sitting bone. Now, traditionally, you would have your head up, and you might want to do different variations here, but I just want to lift, do a big arch. Shouldn't feel painful at all. You might not be able to see it from my shirt here, but I feel like there's some space here underneath my belly. and elongate. Maybe you walk your shoulders further away from your hip. Take your knees in, hug them. So how is your body feeling now? Hopefully it feels good. Now, if there's any posture that you just have to do before you find resting pose, please do that. But if you're ready to feel good, resting here on the mat, come down with your legs a little bit out to the side, hands on the floor, palms facing up. Inhale deeply, feeling your whole belly, chest expand. Exhale, side out. Couple more times. Inhale. Deep, deep inhale. Exhale. One more time. And then relax your whole body. Maybe you open your mouth, letting your jaw relax. And bring your awareness maybe back to the word or your intention. If it makes sense, you might want to cut the word in two and use it and speak it to yourself, following your breath. So if it was peace, you might say peaceful. So inhale peace, exhale full. It's time to wrap up the class. Still resting, move your feet, your ankles, your wrists. Take the feet down on the floor, bend your knees, and you might want to do the windshield movement from side to side. How do you feel? How do your body feel? Hopefully it feels amazing now. You've been stretching, you've been strengthening, been moving. So hopefully it was great. Come into a seat. I am so grateful that you wanted to practice with me. Also grateful if you want to like this video, subscribe and share. It's such a pleasure that you're here with me. Blessings and peace on your path.